Hey guys, this is the first time I see my birdie going into her new nest, and I wanted to just videotape it. I know I'm doing it far away because this is the first time that I seen her going in there. There's 2 eggs in there, and I put her new nest in there last night, and I put a pair of gloves on and I moved her eggs in there, but from last night up until just now, I never really seen her going in there. But this is the first time I see her actually going into her nest. I wanted to keep everybody posted and updated about the eggs being viable and if they hatch. But I didn't want to get too close when she was trying to go in there because I didn't want to scare her away from her eggs or her nest. I think when I moved her eggs, she didn't know where they were moved. She was nesting them and she was sitting on them. She's not in there now. So, good morning, by the way. I just got up not about a half hour ago, so I'm still not fully awake. But I think that she knew where she laid her eggs and where she moved her eggs and where she was sitting on them. And because she kept sitting on her eggs, I assumed that they were viable eggs this time. If you've seen my previous videos, she's laid a couple of the other eggs, but didn't have anything to do with them. She didn't sit on them. They just would get shifted around in the cage, moved around, rolled around, I would also call it. And then they cracked. And she never sat on them, so she had nothing to do with them. But these eggs that she laid, well, she laid one egg, and I noticed a difference on how she treated this particular egg. She was sitting on it, coddling it, and protecting it, and so was the male. And then a couple days after, she had laid a second egg. Same thing. She sat on it, laid on it, protected it. So, like, if my dog Sunny wanted to go up and greet the birds, because he's just infatuated with these birds. So he'll go up and try to greet them, try to talk to them, try to play with them, interact with them. And he likes to go visit the birdies, I call it. But we have to keep control because he'll get up on the stand that they're on and accidentally move the it's like a mat, and it moves the mat. Now she went back in. I'm like, oh. So she's going in her nest now. They're going in there, and I think they're trying to figure out what this nest is because this is new to their cage. And her eggs were on the bottom of the cage, and that's where she was sitting on them and nesting them. But I wanted to keep the eggs protected from cracking or getting rolled around or shifted, or especially if the birds did hatch, I didn't want their little leggies or feet to get caught in like the spokes of the cage. So my husband and I went out yesterday and we bought this cute little pineapple nest. I don't know how good you could see it because I don't want to go near the cage just yet because I want her to find her eggs. But it's this cute little pineapple nest, and they told us to keep it like kind of at the bottom, close to the bottom, where she can be on the perch and kind of just walk into the nest easily. And so we put it in the corner where it's a little bit more private, away from the food and the water, because up here, sorry, my fingers right there is their like little birdie bath, and then their food. Well, this is their water, and then their food right here. Sorry for my finger. But so the eggs were in the bottom of the cage and she was sitting there. So my husband and I had said we have to go out and get a nest, not only to protect the eggs, but so she can comfortably sit on them and then have her little privacy. And plus, if the baby birds hatch. We don't want them to, get stuck in between like the spokes of the cage. Also, we want to keep their cage clean, so we always take the tray out and we throw like we usually have these tray covers. I forget what they're called. I'll have to show you. It's in a box. We get them at PetSmart, and they're these absorbent like cloth type things, but it's like kind of like plastic, and they really absorb the odor and like all of I call it the debris, like the birdie seed or food and poop and all that stuff and pee. It all absorbs on this mat. It's like a plastic mat, and it like contains the odor, so you don't have much odor, versus a newspaper, because to me newspaper is very messy. Plus they pluck the newspaper up through the spokes and like chew it up. But we noticed they were doing that, because my husband and I got in a hurry one day and we're like, look, let's just cut some newspaper to fit the liner of the tray. So we pulled the tray out, we wiped it down, vacuumed it, cleaned it, sanitized it, and then just laid newspaper down, because we were in a hurry and the cage was really, really bad. And the reason why the cage got really, really bad is because we had this last month several different eggs, and we were trying not to disturb it. So we're like, how do we clean the cage without moving the eggs and disturbing it or making the birds upset about it? And at the time we weren't equipped with a nest, and I ran out of rubber gloves, so I didn't want to touch it. Well, when we discovered that they weren't viable, we just took a plastic baggie and we realized the eggs were cracked. And you can see in the eggs, it was like a yolk, like just a regular like egg you'd crack and scramble an egg type thing. So we talked with a pet store like Petco and even PetSmart. We asked both. So we got two opinions that, yeah, they were more than likely not viable eggs to go ahead, and if we wanted to take them out, we could, and toss them. So that's what we did. So we cleaned the cage up. So that particular day we were really busy, and we were trying to get some things done, and we just laid newspaper in there. So anyways, long story short about that, sorry. My point about that is, instead of putting their normal liner in on the tray, we just did the newspaper. So another indication that we really think that the eggs are viable is because she was trying to build a nest by pulling the newspaper up through the spokes, when they normally don't do that. They really don't. I've never seen them do that. And they were kind of like shredding it and trying to build a nest with it. So on the bottom of the cage, not the platform where the newspaper normally sits for the debris to go into the tray, but on the bottom of the cage itself, the spokey parts, you can see lots of bits of newspaper all over. So that to me was an indicator that these eggs are definitely viable, because she was trying to build a nest. So Saturday we just got really, really busy. I was working on my husband's video for Survivor. We were running, errands, and we were helping my brother and my sister-in-law. So yesterday I had asked them if it was all right, because we had things to do yesterday. And then, of course, we took our dogs for walks. They got ice cream. We just was enjoying the 80-degree weather. But we did stop at Petco in Kent Brimfield and got this cute little nest. It's adorable. So I'm gonna walk over there, because she's not in the nest right now. But see, I'm getting closer, and they're starting to scramble and get a little bit protected. But there's where the eggs are. They're in this cute little pineapple. So I don't want to make a long video, but I'll keep everybody posted. And if she starts sitting in it more, I'll let everybody know. But I think what it was is, when we put the nest in there, it was used to her eggs being at the bottom of the cage, and she was sitting on them at the bottom of the cage, and she was nesting them. And I used rubber gloves. I sanitized my hands. I washed them, sanitized them, and put the rubber gloves on. And then I picked the eggs up and I moved them. And I don't think she realized that they were just moved. So you could tell there was like a little bit of like, they were huddled in the corner, kind of like if they lost their babies. And So I kept peeking in throughout the night to see if she was nesting. So this is the first time that I saw her actually go in there and peek at her eggs and kind of start to sit on them. So she's been eating a lot today, though. I've noticed she's been eating a lot. But in a little bit here, I'm going to have to refill their food and their water. But she's eating right now, so I don't want to disturb her. But I just want to give you guys an update. It's a cute little pineapple nest that we got at Petco. I think it was the cutest one there. They had like a tent looking thing. Something that kind of looked like a hay bale type nest, but I thought this was cute. So we just put it in the corner at the bottom as suggested by Petco. That way she has easy access to get on the perch and just kind of walk in there. And then their little birdie bath is up top. So, and then they got some toys in there, but it is getting a little crowded in there. My husband and I talked about the fact that we are going to have to upgrade the cage. So instead of going one cage bigger, we're going to end up just getting the big cage that's on wheels. And then we're going to create like I call it a big old jungle playground for them. But for right now, until the babies hatch, we're just going to leave it as is. And then after the babies hatch, obviously we have to upgrade our cage. So they're going to get a bigger cage. And then I don't know if we're going to keep the babies or not. Maybe for a little while. And then when they're ready, we'll talk to the Petco and PetSmart or whatever and see when we're allowed to maybe see if anybody wants any birdies. Because I can't have hundreds of birds in my house. So... But, so if anybody's interested in any baby birds, when they are allowed to leave the nest, and I will confirm this with the Petco and PetSmart. I like to get 2 opinions, guys. Or if anybody already knows, let me know, because I don't want to separate them too early. And let me know if you want any birdies, because I can't do more than the 2 birds, so... Maybe, and then that's my limit, but I don't want to go any more than that. So have a great day, y'all. I'm going to get some cleaning done. Take care. Thanks for watching. I'll keep everybody posted about my birds.